three words: my agility, my ability, and my availability. It can't be based on how you feel. If I want to enjoy life with people, I have to be available to them. And I can't be available to them if I'm stuck because I didn't take care of the greatest gift I was given, which was my earth suit. I was like, man, I just don't feel motivated. She's like, yeah, that's not how it works. If you're looking for, well, gosh, this feels good, well, you've got to do it to feel good. Everybody wants to be a millionaire.
Right.
Everybody wants to be thin. No one gets anywhere without doing some work.
All right, you guys, welcome back to another episode of the Beyond the Scale podcast. I am your host, Mary Catherine, and today's guest is Tullio. Tullio is a pastor by trade, side hustle rental property, and Rodan and Field skincare enthusiast. He's also a full-time dad of 3 adult-sized children, 20, 21, and 22. Tullio has a sheer drive to help people be better. He was raised in Italian class and Irish tenacity and a little Southern hospitality, coupled with parents who instilled that when there is a will, there is a way. Better said, die trying. He was convinced we are better together. We can make the world a better place and advance in either way without losing down to earth, loving kindness, and genuine care and concern for others. When not at Fit Body Boot Camp, you can find Tullio volunteering in the schools with sports and theater and business club boosters, or the Feeding Southwest Virginia food pantry system, or sharing his faith through Young Life and bringing the churches together to improve his community. So Fit Body Boot Camp was a second attempt at 47 to find sustainable physical health. 950 days and 1,000 workouts later, Tullio has lost 30 pounds, gained muscle, and triumphed over depression. He not only knows what a deadlift is, he ran out of room on the bar for more weight at boot camp. He is always taking Fit Body up on any challenge and game available, usually with some bizarre, spirited outfits and teams. And even in 2023, he finished a 5K Spartan race. Tullio has found a home and a family at boot camp where he can thrive and become better every day in every way and be part of other people's personal success journeys. So welcome, Tullio, to the podcast.
Hey, good to be with you guys. That was quite an introduction.
Yeah, that was a really good one. I feel like I've already learned a few things about you this morning that I didn't even know, which is great. So for our listeners, Tullio and I met at Blacksburg Fit Body Boot Camp, and that was the first location that I opened. And gosh, when did you become a member and what year?
I'm getting ready to start year 3 on November 1st. Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been there 2 years. So
wow. And Tullio is a 6'15".
maybe a little bit longer than that. Because if I've done 950 days, you do the math. I guess I'm finishing 3 years. Yeah. I'm a little slow.
Yeah, you're finishing up 3 years because I believe that you were a member right before COVID hit, right?
I was.
COVID,
right,
yeah.
Right at the beginning. I lived through it. You guys did great.
Which is crazy because, here you are kind of, nervous, scared in this new journey, this new fitness journey. And then you get into it and then all of a sudden, okay, gyms are closed. So it's like, how do you stay motivated?
Very true.
Yeah. So Tullio works out at 6:15, correct?
Mostly. Yeah.
6:15. He's an
there's some good people at 12:15 and 4:30. So you got to kind of mix it up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I call him personally Mr. Fit Body. Like he is Mr. Fit Body in Blacksburg.
In Blacksburg. Let's not overextend that, but
yeah. Well, if you attend a session that Tullio is in, like he's hooting and hollering, he's like yelling for you across the room. He's cheering his group on. Like I do truly feel like a new person coming into boot camp, like can be in a session with you and be like, whoa, what is going on here?
Over the top. We did have an experience one day that the coach, she started to lose her voice and we were towards the end of the workout. She just came by and she's like, I'm putting the microphone on you, like bring us in. She's like, I've lost my voice. So
bring it in and break it down.
And I was pretty wound up that day. So whether it's pre-workout or coffee, sometimes you just gotta talk your way through the workout,
Oh,
and
totally.
sometimes that talking is across the room. So
That's right. That's right. Well, Tulio, I want to start from the beginning with you because I think we're going to cover a lot today. And we're really going to dive into how you got started in your own personal fitness journey, how it changed your life, and then really help those people that might be at home struggling, thinking, okay, it's been too long since I've been in the gym. I don't even know where to get started. And so I want to talk about those beginning stages of your journey with FitBody, what your life looked like, what was your fitness routine and your health like before joining boot camp?
Well, I will say, as you said that, I will always mark my parents. They're 88 ish, 87, almost 89, but they are very active. Now, my dad is probably the oldest referee or umpire for Little League Baseball, but he at 87 he refs football and soccer. I can't say that he's the best, and we were hoping he puts his hearing aid in, and But I come from parents who are agile, and so I know that that's always been a priority to me. But I like to eat, and I like sweets, and that's a comfort center for me. So when you talk about, pre fit body, the before, I think I would say I didn't know what I was doing, so I was intimidated. I probably did a lot of running, though I hate running. I applaud you in all of your races, but and some of our trainers and lots of people at FitBody in Blacksburg and they're running, but I hate running. I hate running. But I also, if I had to list what I am most inexperienced in, it would be like I even was a nutrition minor in school because I wanted a hospitality degree and they didn't have that degree. And so fortunately it's not on my diploma because probably not my forte, but I had all of that knowledge and I knew that motion was important, movement was important. I love to dance. But I just I'm lucky that I didn't hurt myself in my attempt in a freestyle no trainer environment. I even wrote down like for nutrition probably was a bigger issue for me because I really thought if I just lose the weight that I really wasn't concentrated on muscle building. I was in a car accident 23 years ago. I went to a therapist. I got the movement back in my muscles, but my muscles don't engage together. And I always just said, well, that's where the pain is from. And so I really lack some education in the area of exercise. So I wrote this down. If I said like where I started in nutrition, I started with starvation. Like I just thought if you could eat less,
Mm,
you know, your body
right.
would eat itself. And while that might be true, that is not the right way I have learned to go about that. My second attempt was through Weight Watchers, and I had a phenomenal teacher that joined a lot of things with the Weight Watchers environment that did teach me. It revitalized some knowledge that I had. And she was a roller derby queen. So she believed that you couldn't put health as a weight loss only, you had to join it with movement.
Mm,
But then from there, I actually, a man in Christiansburg started a group for pastors. And that's really was when I say my first attempt, that I began to learn, wow, it's really my form that's causing me so much pain. And
yeah.
so um, that gym closed pre-COVID and became a little bit more independently. You had to function independently. And I just don't, it's the one time I kind of shut my brain off completely and follow someone. And so that was kind of my before.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't, I have an interesting story of how I got to Fit Body, but
Yeah. Well, let's hear that because
yeah,
that was my next question was how did you
yeah.
discover Fit Boot Camp?
So I have a friend, a very close friend, and she actually hired the studio manager and trainer to do a special group session. And it was during that time, and I saw his personality, and I was like, "Wow! If he's leading, there must be men at this
Right.
workout place, you
Right.
know." And Mike is a very masculine man. He you know, he's also not like Mr. Muscle Builder, like you're never going to be able to be like him.
Right.
So it kind of spoke to me like, "Man, this might be a possibility." So the second thing is Mike had enduring patience for all my questions, including I wanted to know how many men were in every class. I was recently divorced. I had come out of an original bout of depression, but I could feel myself pulling back. And on my 40 whatever, fifth, sixth birthday, I was heading to the gym that I was using and I had a car accident. And it was something I just like, something's got to change. And like the next day, I won a free month at Fit Body Boot Camp. I don't even know if that was real. Maybe I'm imagining it. I've never seen this kind of raffle program ever again in my 3 years there. I mean, that's many months, but it probably saved my life. And still, finally, Mike, in a impassioned plea, he said, "I'm not answering any more questions.
Just come in.
You're gonna have to show up, dude. Like, I don't know what hurdle you're having to make, but I just need you to come one time to a regular studio class." And so on this free membership, I walked in, and a man a little bit older than I was walked across the room, and I didn't have my glasses on. I couldn't really see people's face. And Bob said, "Hey, are you new?" And I said, "I am." And he said, "Well, do you want to work out with me?" And he kind of paired me. I don't know if Mike had prepped it. I don't even know how all that worked. I don't think Bob ever came back to class. I mean, he got sick. He had some really challenging
Yeah.
things, and he's now healthy and he's doing great. And I've reminisced with him about this story. But I don't think if I have been partnered with him, because we were kind of the same physical strength and similar in age. He's a few years older than I am. But it was a winning moment that I was like, I can do this. I
Yeah.
can do this. And there started a trajectory of improved health and fitness. I credit Blacksburg Fit Body to being alive. I mean, I don't minimize that. I mean, I'm a man of faith, and I'm sure my faith would get me where it needed to go. But I kind of hit a second cycle of depression while I was at Fit Body. And now not only did I have coaches, but I had a community. And I had a community before, but the Fit Body community in Blacksburg, and maybe it's everywhere. I believe for it to be everywhere, because I don't think it just happens by stance, but that I had team members that would call and check on me if I didn't show up to class.
Yeah.
I had them, and for me, and there's lots of different diversity at Fit Body, but I had people of similar faith that would pray for me. It wasn't like calling you out like you're not here. It was calling like, "Hey, you don't seem like yourself. Are you doing okay? Is there
Yeah.
something that you need?" I even had a teammate. She just was very direct with me, and she said, "Hey, I've lost someone to depression. You're showing some similar signs, and if no one's told you today, someone's here for you." So
Oh,
kind of taking your physical health up a notch, in the community. And I know that it's not just Blacksburg, because I've had the opportunity to work out in Roanoke, and I now have friends in Roanoke,
yeah.
that they emulate the same. And I realize that is a gym that you started. So maybe I'll credit the stalls, but I also credit Fit Body Boot Camp and the team, and not just the coaches, but the coaches, because they certainly set the atmosphere.
Yeah. I love that so much. And it really is a great segue into, I was going to ask how your mental health has changed since starting Fit Body. But I want to point out the fact that, as an adult, and I feel this way, like as a young adult, there are not a lot of situations today where I feel like there are communities that I can join where you have that support system, unless you do go to a church and you go there every week and you see other people that are, same faith as you and they have the same beliefs as you. But there aren't a lot of opportunities, especially for those of us that are working from home or you have small children or you're just at that stage of life where you're alone a lot and you're by yourself, and to have this community of people that are surrounding you, that you're going to get a workout, but after the workout some person's coming up to you and saying, "Hey, how are you? Do you need a friend right now?" Like that is so, Like, you're not going to find that many other places. And the fact that you can find that in a community like Fit Body, I think is just so incredible. And I think that, your story
Well,
pretty much shows a test to that.
yeah, I would even just like to segue in that is I will frame people's mind in this. If you are a person of faith, which I am, I may only see those people once a week.
Right.
I might see them twice a week. I've really thought about this. Like, why is Fit Body now so key to me? I've had friends ask me through the changes, transitions in our community, at the gym, in my own life. They're like, "Hey, why are you still here? Like, what have you tried something else?" I'm like, "Well, I have. I have tried something else, and I've been out of town. I've had to try other things, and I still come back to, do you realize that if you're not working, but even if you are working, I see those people every day or 3 times a week. I might be seeing them more than I see anyone else but my family. And if I live alone, that's a whole nother thing. And while we can see each other on video, yeah, when you're seeing someone putting on their shoes and they're struggling, or they're having to manage navigate themselves through a challenging exercise, it is a different level of community. And I would say the reason why Fit Body for me is, it isn't, you're not just going in there to be physically healthy, and you're not going in there just to be some title over here. I lifted X number of pounds, and you can have that. I mean, I love the leaderboard, and
Right.
I like moving up. Uh, I'll get to this, but 1,000 workouts. Like, I love those incentives. I love those celebrations. But what I also like, if someone asks me why am I at Fit Body, well, because it's not all about my body. It's
Right.
about my mind. It's about my life. Can I carry my suitcase? Can I carry my groceries? Can I get down the aisle in the airplane? That was what was said the other day. All these people traveling. Someone was complaining about a weight. They were like, just imagine you got your suitcase and your carry on. You're trying to get down the aisle in the airplane, or you're running to catch your flight or your boat, or you're running away from someone. We always joke, like, run fast like you're robbing a bank. I'm like, we're not robbing a bank, but you get the idea. So sometimes you're in that workout and the trainer is positioning to you, what are you trying to overcome in your life?
Hmm.
Like, what is the challenge? Is it a problem employee? Is it a problem child? Is it a problem student? Is it a problem project? Like, because there's the reality is that if I can overcome, if I can jump on this box, if I can lift this weight, if I can move this sled, then there's a reality. I was made to do great things.
Hmm.
And it is it's our human makeup that when I feel like I've accomplished something here, I then have the courage and strength to believe that I can accomplish this other thing. And
Yeah.
I really, that is one of the reasons that keeps me is, I am getting stronger, I am getting healthier, but I'm also getting a healthier mindset, perspective, outlook. I've gained a community. I could talk all day about Fit Body.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, and it's like you're building the momentum. We talk about that a lot. It's a snowball effect. It's like you get up one morning, you go to work out, you crush that workout, you leave there feeling great, and then you go to work and you may have had something that you're not looking forward to all week, and you're like, you know what? I can do this. I'm going to do this because hey, I already crushed that workout. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling confident. It's the snowball effect,
Yeah.
and you really have to ride that momentum high. What motivates you in those days though where
Mm-hmm.
you're not motivated to get up? And what would you tell someone who, maybe they tried boot camp or they tried any gym and they did it for a week or two and then they fell off the wagon and then they decided, okay, I'm going to try it again, but they're having trouble. What would you tell somebody?
So can I reverse this for a second?
Yeah.
You are a beautiful person.
Thank you.
Do you go to the beautician?
Do I go to, oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you go to the nail salon?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you see a doctor?
Yes.
Yeah. You go to a dentist.
Yes.
Okay. So just those four examples. You go somewhere because we call it in church, you need a tutor. It's somewhere that you're lacking. So let me even get better. Do you wash your hair in the course of the week?
Yes.
You brush your teeth on some type of a regular schedule.
Hmm.
Do you ever buy new clothes?
Yes.
You clean your house?
Yep.
Yeah, you just woke up and you said, "Oh, today I'm gonna clean my house." Yeah.
Right.
No.
No,
Did you
not
get up
usually.
and say, "Oh, I get to brush my teeth"? Oh,
No.
yeah. No, you don't. So, in the words of, and I say this as a father, I say it as a pastor, community leader. Um, I think everybody's waiting to feel motivation. I mean, I said it to a friend last night. She just said, I just don't feel motivated. I said, you're looking at the wrong thing. She said, you said that to me 2 weeks ago. And I said, you went to the gym, didn't you? I said, we can replay the conversation. I'm not going to change the conversation. I mean, I picked someone up today on the way to the gym. I knew he wasn't going to come. The normal person he works out with wasn't home. And I was like, hey, what, you need a ride? He didn't need a ride, you
Yeah.
know? And so I would say, the words I would use is end game. That's the perspective that you have to have. My nutritionist at the time, Kristen, who since moved and opened her own Fit Body, I was like, man, I just don't feel motivated. She's like, yeah, that's not how it works. You do the right thing, and you just said it creates a snowball.
Hmm.
The motivation, if you're looking for, well, gosh, this feels good, well, you've got to do it to feel good. So really the motivation, I think, has to be the end game. Like you even asked me, I said some stuff about mental health, but I would even just circle back to, someone asked me, they said, and I am like I am proud of 1,000 sessions. I'm proud of 1,000 sessions in 950 days, because that meant that there were a few extras in there, because the studio manager, he's all about me. He's like, you better take a rest. I mean, they gave me a whole, teaching discipleship moment on taking rest. So someone said, why 1,000 sessions? I'm like, well, sometimes you got a friend in the afternoon, or sometimes your day sucked and you need to go work it out so you don't take it home. And I've definitely had both of those experiences. But Kristen said to me, that part, she just said, like, you're expecting the motivation before the actual motivation is supposed to come. And
Mm.
then the second thing, I shifted as Kristen moved on to open her own gym. The next trainer, nutritionist I had, Shelby, who's a phenomenal motivational person. She said to me one day, she just said, she's a sweet lady, but man, she can be hard.
Give it to you. Yeah.
I'm gonna choose my words kindly. We are on record, but so, and she just said, hey, you willing to do the work? I mean, everybody wants to be a millionaire.
Right.
Everybody wants to be thin. Nobody is waving their hand. I mean, even people that you think, well, I'm going to go have um, beauty surgery, whatever they call that, not a medical surgery, but a beauty surgery.
Cosmetic surgery. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but then you got to maintain that. You're always going to have to put in the work, and so I think coupled the two things is the end game for me is the motivator, and the reality that no one gets anywhere without doing some work, and
Mm.
so I kind of keep those two things in perspective, and going back to you're a beautiful person, and you didn't just show up beautiful, like you
Right.
did the work, and it was consistent. So we go to the barber, we go to the beautician, we get our nails done, we clean our house. At some point, exercise, our health has to come at the same level of importance.
Mm.
I want to live a long life. I want to be able to be agile. I'm in the second half. I'm getting ready to turn 50. So I'm getting ready to start the second half of my life, and I want to enjoy it. It's my life
Right.
isn't over. And so I have to be agile. I have to be able. I use three words, but just at my agility, my ability, and my availability. And
Mm.
it comes by just getting up. It's got to be a no. It can't be based how you feel. It
Yeah.
just can't. I went this morning with a headache. I took Tylenol before I did it, partly because there's not another opportunity to exercise today.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
sorry, long winded answer, but
No, I really appreciate that. And I think it's just such a great point because people are always waiting for the perfect time. And for those of you that are listening who maybe you have small children like me, like I share about this all the time. Like my days never look the same. Like I plan to get up in the morning and work out before everybody else gets up, or I plan to go to the gym, after my work day. And then something happens, someone's sick or someone needs me, my babysitter fell through, like something happens. And I could use all of those excuses every single day and say, I don't have time, like I'm too tired. And there's never going to be a perfect time. And as you mentioned, like you're never going to wake up and be like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to clean the house today. Same goes for, oh my gosh, I can't wait to work out. Like you just don't feel like that most days. And if you can put in the reps on the days where you don't feel like it, then it's going to get easier to keep going. And I think that's just such a valuable point for our listeners.
Absolutely. I mean,
Wow.
in my world, I get a lot of people that say there's not time. Yeah, no, I mean, and don't start saying, wait a minute, because
Yeah.
you don't have a minute. I mean, one of my, she's actually the pastor of our next generation, and she goes to Fit Body at 5:15.
Oh,
So
wow.
kudos to her. But she said, we use the words just a minute. Give me a minute. Wait a minute. She said, actually, there are no minutes to give. You take it, but you can't manufacture minutes. But what is important to us, we make time for.
Mm, yes.
And I think sometimes people put the end game is not exercise.
No.
Physical fitness is the means to get where you want to go. And I mean, who wants to go on a trip to Europe or Myrtle Beach or down the street to the swimming pool? I don't know. They're like, well, I don't want to go to the swimming pool because I don't like what I look like. Okay, you don't like what you look like. I don't want to go to Europe because my feet hurt. I don't want to go to Myrtle Beach because walking struggle. And sometimes it requires surgery. Our bodies hurt. We need an intervention. That's why they make doctors. That's why they're gifted. That's great. But whether that happens or that doesn't happen, what is sustainable is what we maintain.
Hmm.
And those are two of my favorite words. I'm like, is what we want to do sustainable, and can I maintain that?
Right.
And this is the only body I've been given. I mean, you can get new joints, you can get new lots of things, but you're not going to get a new earth suit.
Right. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And I love that you pointed out, and I say this a lot. It's like your actions can kind of tell people what your values are. Because, like for me, I love talking about values, and someone will say, oh, well, I value health and fitness, but like, do you actually value that? Is that what your actions show? Like, is that what you're doing every day? Are you eating healthy? Are you working out? Are you taking care of yourself? Not only your physical health, but your mental health. Like, do you value that? Because if you're not living a life and your standards don't match what you value or don't match your actions, then that isn't what you value. And so I think that you made a great point of, really pointing that out. I want to ask you one last question, and that is just again going back to somebody who's scared to get started and someone who maybe is in that place that you were before you started Fit Body. What would you tell them? What advice would you give them?
Well, I got lots of advice.
What would be your
I,
top two?
I would say this too. Just I'm going to say this. I'm going to address a few different people, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So number one, I will address my male population out there. Male and female have some differences, probably more differences physiologically. I mean, the way we express ourselves than physiologically. But males, you're people too. Like, you got an earth suit, you got a body, and we go through the same mental processes of what I look like, how I'm viewed, um, and our own abilities. Some men have abilities. They're going to jump out there on the basketball court or the volleyball court, or I don't know, maybe it's in golfing. And at some point, if you don't take care of your body, you can't do those things. And sometimes you can't even try those things, which may be more fun. And so I would just encourage, and I'm at a benefit right now. There's a lot of males in the classes that I go to. I mean, I frequent a few different classes because of my schedule. And so the second group of people I would say is parents. And I realize that I am not a mom. And I realized that my children were a little bit older when I entered a divorce, but something that my kid's mom and I always agreed on is we agreed that there were things that we needed to do in order to be healthy parents. So I'm going to kind of flip that and
Mm-hmm.
say, number one, your kids need you to see you making healthy choices. And number two, you're exercising not just for you, you're exercising so you're a better adult for these people that are in your lives, not just in the modeling, like so that you can bend over and pick up the laundry, you know,
Right.
so that you have the energy to do the laundry.
Right.
And so, and then I would just say to all of my middle-aged people, it's just not too late. We don't get fat through one drive-through. We're not going to get thin through one trip to the gym. And
Mm-hmm.
we just have to change our perspective. And the part that I do like about FitBody, because I can probably give a, this is why you should try it, is I have seen people come in with the roller thing, like their knee is on the
Right.
wheelchair thing,
Yeah.
and the trainers change, they modify where you are. And so I've seen people come in with shoulder problems, with neck problems, with, and I watch, as long as the trainer knows and they are given some moments time before they start, um, they are able to, they have an understanding of the human body, and so they're able to say, well, we're trying to work this muscle, let's try this. I personally have a shoulder problem from that accident, and
Yeah.
I'm always impressed. They check with me. I've learned some things that I can do, but frequently I am given a modification. And so when I've been to other gyms, the ratio coach to trainer, or in some cases I had no one because I was trying to
Yeah.
do it on my own, it just doesn't give you the same opportunity. I think every time I've given a coach an opportunity, the coach has met me, you know, where I'm at. And so for those people also that are intimidated, I would just say, like, hey, you are made to move. Like, you were created for movement, to get from here to there. And I mean, I believe the creator of the universe wanted you to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's for
that's
sure.
why I think dancing is important. Is if you're going to go from point A to point B, you should be able to do that with liberty. You should be able to do that with joy in your jump. You know, like it shouldn't be like, I don't know if I want to get up and get a glass of water because it hurts. And I know that there are people in a process, and I'm talking more about the majority. I would
Right.
just say that you were envisioned, you were designed, you were created to move. You have to cooperate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
You got to take thinking to action. And so the other thing that I would say is, if you haven't had success, then maybe try something different. Find your people, find your place. Some people they don't want my energy, and I guess they don't come to my class. But you know, I know there are people that want other types of movements, so they go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And I respect that.
Right.
But do something.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
I do
do
too.
something. Um the reason why people like a ball is because it was made to move, and once it starts moving, it keeps moving. And our bodies are much the same way. I believe, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a trainer. And everyone said thank you. So I would just say, like, I would implore you, please try. Please try something. And for anyone out there that hasn't tried FitBody, I definitely am going to be a FitBody proponent. I have tried some other things. I've tried something to improve running. I've gone to a private gym. Someone asked me, what's the difference between a private gym and FitBody? I said, FitBody is bought into a much bigger library.
Right.
So what I have appreciated is the equipment is up to date. The training, I don't know if the word's contemporary, or, but I watch the trainers implement new things
Mm-hmm.
that they have learned. I like the fact that I don't know what's going to happen when I walk in the room, because if
Right.
I did, I would negotiate whether I would come.
Yeah.
And someone's like, well,
That's
I
what I
don't
think.
like to. I'm like, you know what? You got an entire body. Maybe your
Yeah.
lats don't like you today, but you probably need to work them. You know, you
Right.
need to work them. And the other thing that I really appreciate is form. Like, that's been my, if you've struggled somewhere, I would just challenge you. Were you with people that understood the form in your exercise? That's where I've gotten hurt the most. I didn't know at my age that I'm supposed to be able to balance, that I should be able to put my pants on standing on one leg, you know, or that I should wake up without back pain, or,
Right.
you know, that I should still be able to use the bathroom in the woods. Like, we joke about that, and The private gym trainer, he said to me, he was like, if a kid runs out in front of a car, don't you want to scoop him up? If you're on a trail or walking and there was a snake, wouldn't you want to be able to jump over it? Like just coming back to those whys. But if I don't do things, if I don't use the proper form, then I'm not using my body how it was designed to be used. And so I'd say that's a big part. And then just the challenge. What I have enjoyed is that the trainers have taken the time to know me, and they have taken the time to push me in the training. So they know that where my shoulder is, they will qualify, hey, I want you to do this more difficult, either by weight or movement, but then they'll say, can your shoulder do that? There's been times the trainer has said, you're doing too much because your shoulder can't do it and you're compromising your form. I would rather you get the form right, because when you get the form right, then your muscles and their dynamic are working together. And so even this morning, I love the skier. I love the rower, the trainer, the studio manager, and he and I, Mike, have a special bond over that rower. But I don't like the bike at all.
Yeah.
And
Me neither. It's a love-hate relationship. Oof.
yeah, my hair doesn't blow in the wind. There's like we had a dress up day and I had a cape. I was like, maybe this will motivate me on the bicycle I'll get in the
flapping in the wind.
Yeah, I was like, if I could get something encouraging. And so he put his foot on the base of the bike, and he said, I hit 11:21 when I did this, which is his way of saying, I want you to try to beat me. And in my mind, I'm like, there's no way I can beat him,
Right.
And but just the way he said it, like a match. He lit a match, like game on. And the other thing that I'm tangoing in my mind is, I'm like, I don't think I've ever seen anything greater than 700 on the bike. It's watts. I don't know how all that works. And I got 10:29. So we were doing laps around the room in the stations, and I got back to that bike. I'm like, oh no, I was too close. I am getting on there, and and I could kind of see him out of the corner of his eye. I think he kind of smirked at me because I started before the timer. I was like, I'm not waiting. I'm going to kill this bike. And I hit 1100. And he did something similar on the skier. But my point is, he knew my potential. He challenged me to my potential, and he challenged me in such a way that I wouldn't get hurt. And I think that I say all these things, like if you've tried exercise and physical fitness and you can't figure out your why, you may not be thinking about your end game. But on the second thing, you may not have found your people. And you might say it's easier to do it on my own because I'm intimidated. I don't like what I look like. I don't know what I'm capable of doing. You know what? Nobody cares.
Right.
Do you know everybody is walking into the gym wondering, is my shirt right? Are my clothes too tight? Are they too loose? Are my muscles this person? Like everybody's, and the reality is, when you start doing the exercise at my level of ability, which is maybe towards the bottom, I'm concentrating on the exercise. I'm not looking at everybody else. Like,
right.
I ain't got time for that. I'm trying to get my breathing down, and then you realize that everybody else is in the same boat. Like, everybody is there because they're healthy. If they knew what they were doing, they would do it on their own. And so, I feel like I'm a little bit all over the map. I am so thankful to be healthy. I'm so thankful to be at a place that can help me be healthy. And I'm so thankful to be part of a community that is concerned about me and my welfare as a person. And certainly there are people that come that don't want that, or they like it on the peripheral. They're encouraged by what they see, but it's there. Sorry, run on.
No, that was great. That was great. Let's see. I think if anything, people really got out of that is, a body that is in motion stays in motion. We say that a lot at Fit Body. It's, the more you move, the more your body is going to allow for it, and it's going to feel better. And stop negotiating with yourself. I loved how you said that, because even the other day, like for me, I went to boot camp yesterday morning, and I actually went to Coach Lydia, who owns Roanoke Fit Body. now her and I were there, and I actually wasn't planning on working out, and we were both kind of like, oh, let's just do the workout. And it was like a partner AMRAP where it was like burpees and bikes, and it was terrible. It was so terrible. And we both said if we would have known what the workout was in advance, like before we decided, like, let's do this together, we probably would have talked ourselves out of it. And you do negotiate with yourself.
Or
And then
you do the things you like.
right,
Like
you just keep
I
doing the
would
same.
never get on a bike and push
Right,
myself
right,
if it was left
exactly,
up to me. I definitely would never have done a box jump, and I
right,
would never have grown on a box jump. Like there's other things that I wouldn't be doing push-ups correctly.
yeah,
And part of that is because I was given an opportunity to do them differently in order to learn how to do them correctly. And I was given an opportunity, I was trained of doing a modification. So I was like, wow, I can do this.
right.
Can do this. And so I mean, definitely shout out to FitBody, but shout out to good coaching.
Oh,
Um,
definitely.
so
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. Well, Tulio, I love to ask all of my guests this before we go today, and that is like, what does living a life beyond the scale mean to you? Because we talk a lot about how that number really doesn't define you, and you should not be trying to measure up to some sort of metric or like what other people think you should weigh and what that number should be. It really should be based on how you feel and your overall goals for yourself. And so, what does living a life beyond the scale mean to you?
well, I used these words earlier. I said agility, ability, and availability. Again, my end game is it's my kid. Like right now, it's my kids. I mean, certainly, yeah, it's my kids, and I wanna enjoy life with them, and I'm twice their age, so
Right.
um, and they're phenomenal people, and they move when they want something, they move, and so it is keeping up with them, and so I think that's my beyond the scale is my end game,
Yeah.
and again, um, if I want to enjoy life with people, I have to be available to them. And I
Mhm.
can't be available to them if I'm stuck because I didn't take care of the greatest gift I was given, which was my earth suit. So
Yeah.
um, I think that would be the best way to frame it.
I love that so much. Well, Tulio, thank you so much for joining us today. Where can people find you?
When I'm not at FitBody or just in general.
So they can find you at FitBody at 6:15, 6:15 session typically, right? And then
Right. No.
where can people find you like on social media or
Yeah, sure. I would say first and foremost, you can find me with my people. And I always encourage people. You may not be a large group person, find the person. Maybe it's your person. And
yeah.
if I always say to people to be a spouse, be a parent, but have a friend.
Mhm.
Don't just be limited to those parts. I love my kids. I love my faith community. I love the New River Valley. So come find me in New River Valley. Um, I think that I want to be found with people who believe bigger and they grow greater and they love large. And so
Mhm.
you can find me on Facebook, but I'd love to find you in person.
I love that so much. I don't think I've ever had anyone answer that question in that way, and I really love that
Yeah,
because it
I
is
love
true.
people.
Like, you wanna find people in person, not just on social media,
Yeah,
and
I'm for social media. I think I am thankful for the big blue F
Oh, yeah.
and IG, and my kids desperately want me to get on
TikTok.
Snapchat. I think it is
Yep.
or TikTok. One of those. I can't keep them straight. I
Yeah.
am 50, but
Oh my
I love to connect. I am thankful for me a benefit in COVID was the adaptability to interact with people like this on
yeah,
video. I think
yeah,
it's phenomenal. I do a lot of video calls. If that's important to you, we can make that happen. But Facebook is a great way to see the highlight reel. It's a
yep,
great way to see all the things that's working. And if you want to see the parts that are not working, maybe in person is a better way to process that.
yeah, yeah. Well, Tulio, thank you so much, and thank you again for our listeners for joining us for another episode of the Beyond the Scale podcast. As always, please make sure that you subscribe to our Fit Body Bootcamp YouTube channel, where you'll see all of the Beyond the Scale episodes on our Beyond the Scale playlist. Also, we're on Apple Podcast and Spotify. So thanks again, and until next time.